welcome to the channel. I'm George, and today on the bench we've got another little Roberts Rambler. Now, I didn't think I'd do another Roberts Rambler video just as quick as I did before, but I was offered the chance to do a collaboration, and I thought, yeah, why not? I'm going to do the electronics of this radio, and Cody's, who has his own channel, Cody's Workshop, will be doing the cosmetics. So he'll do the pretty and I'll do the worky bit. This little Rambler is white. Well, it should be white, but it's a bit grubby. I haven't powered it up and I haven't really done anything with it, so I thought we'd have a look at it and see what was going on with it, and I'll see where we went from it, really. Let's have a look. It's got everything here. The brights are on, the handle's off. I do have the handle, I've kept it separately. It's in reasonable condition, but the aluminium pegs have corroded away. It has the base. The turntable is quite stiff, but I'm sure that will free off eventually, maybe with a little squirt of happy juice. And let's open the back. Now, looking in here, this is not a very pretty sight. This looks particularly disgusting. So I think the easiest thing to do is to actually just push it out the case, and we can have a look at it outside of its little box. There we go. So let's untangle the speaker. In fact, I'm going to disconnect the speaker completely at this point. Get the little box out the way. And yeah, we've just got a bit of corrosion on the battery terminals. You know that's not going to be the case, don't you? It's grotty, it's grubby. Well, there's two capacitors that really have not had a very good time of things. Yes, that's not a very pleasant looking thing. Also, we've got cracks on certainly that one, and that one there, and that one there. So at least 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we're going to be rebuilding this set from the board up. This could be quite a fun project. Certainly that trimmer's not going to be any good. The volume pot looks a touch rusty. We'll check that out. The battery snaps need replacing. The switches have rust on them, so that switch bank will have to come out. I think we're in for a good bit of dismantling on this one. Let me start by taking out these two blown caps. After all, they're not doing us any favours, are they? So let's just get the electric glue just to add a bit to the board. The first one is here. Right, there we go. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to source my parts and just go through what I actually need to replace these bits. I'm going to take the knobs off. I'm going to start trying to scrub and clean things up, drop the switch bank down, make sure I can get to it. I might take the whole board off actually and give it a chance. I've got to test that pot as well. So let me get it into more bits and we shall see what we need for it. Okay, so since the last time you saw it, I'd got a pile of dust and taken a load of stuff out. Now we've got a clean board, which is on the bench on the not so white piece of cloth, but hey, it's a piece of cloth. In the bowl at the side, which you can probably just about see on one of these cameras, there's a litre of isopropyl alcohol, and it's got the actual chassis frame, whatever you want to call it, the top panel, soaking in that after it's been de-rusted and it's degreasing while it's in there. I've also got the transistors in that same bowl, the dial cord wheels and the pulleys, because 2 of the dial cord pulleys were actually seized solid with aluminium oxide. They weren't turning, so it would have just been a matter of time before the dial cord itself broke. Now, I've got in my little tray of bits and pieces here, I have a selection of replacement capacitors, which are pretty much everything we need. I've got the schematic, and I've also got the board layout. So it's going to be a matter of me switching between the pages. Now, luckily, this particular radio only uses 2 different values of non-electrolytic capacitors. It uses 10 nanofarads and 100 nanofarads, nice and easy. So it didn't take much to find the components, very common values. The other ones, again, standard values, the electrolytics, and I've got a replacement for all of those. Not using anything special, and these are all higher rated than the originals. So let's just get on with repopulating the board. So I think I'm going to start with the capacitors, seeing as they're the smallest. Now, turning the board over, you can see that there are some sort of smears still on it, and that's just the residue still of the dust. Now, when I finish soldering, I will wash it again, and again in isopropyl, just to clean it off completely. So let's get the book and have a look and see what it says. So where are we starting from? I suppose if I turn the board the same way up, I'll know exactly which ones I'm putting in, won't I? The transistors, these are in here. There was something there, C3 and C2 came out. So let's go and have a look at C3 and C2. 10 nanofarad for C2, and for C3, 10 nanofarad again. So there's 2 10s, so that's going to replace the 2 that were on here. And I'm going to have to spread these leads out a bit. So it's going to be a lot of fiddling, but we'll get it done. Right, okay. Apologies if the sound has changed somewhat. The bench has suffered from some technical difficulties, so I'm changing things around a bit and hoping that things are working. But what is on the bench? Well, we have a bit of black metal, and it's not the sort of black metal I listen to. It's a bit of black metal. The original chassis, if you remember, was rusty and nasty. Well, I took all the rust off, and I was going to gunmetal black it, but in the end just went with straightforward matte spray paint. I refitted the rivets for the dial cord. They all turn freely now, which is quite a good thing, means nothing will drag to snag on the dial cord. The PCB is back together again. That's all ready to work. We've just got to make sure it fits together and does what it's meant to do. I've got a new battery snap to solder onto the terminals, so that's another little job we've got to do, and just generally get it back together, refit the dial cord and make it look like a radio again, and test it, and hopefully everything will work. So let's get on with that. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the circuit board in the chassis. I'm not going to tie up the dial cord just yet. And this is fairly straightforward. You just reverse what we did to take it apart. That's the polyvericon. This is where the ferrite rod goes, like so. Let's just make sure that this all fits on here, and I don't know if I can do that with the ferrite rod in place. So let's just pull that back one stage. Slide that into there, That's it. And put these little, how do they call them, frame holders, whatever they call them. There we go. Get on there. And we've just got to just gently sort of push them in so that all of them connect in like that. I can get my pliers and just do what you normally do with these, and that's just bend them in a few degrees to make them hold the PCB. Like that. Let's fit the volume pot. I didn't replace the volume pot because I didn't actually need to, which was quite a nice thing. So I'm just going to put that back in there with its tab in the right place. There. And put its washers on. Like that. Let's put the screws back in, these standoff pillars. Now, although these are cleaner, they are not perfect. One of them is certainly a little bit ropey still, but I'm not going to be changing these. It's going back with exactly the same parts it came with. The only difference is this time they're not rusty. Even though it was in a completely abysmal state, everything has cleaned up quite well. Whether it works or not, we're going to find out. Let's just tighten those up. Just got to put the screws in for the polyvaricon and then solder everything back down. Go on, drop in the hole. Now hopefully I will put this on the right way up. If not, it may affect how the dial cord goes on, but we shall see if I've done it right. Let's just find that. And let's just get the solder and put those bits that have to be soldered down to the board back together. Just check that it doesn't rub on there. That's good. Turn it over. Hook in the antenna onto its little stand. This one has to solder to there. Speaker, that wire will come off, I'm sure. Oh, maybe not. Right, there we go. Let us test it with a speaker. Bring in the cabinet.
Trying to make peace between two parties to stop things escalating, and that can only...
So that's long wave. Let's turn it down a bit. That's all working. All I'm going to do now, apart from turn it off, is I'm going to put the battery snap on. The next time you see this, it'll be in the hands of Cody's, and it'll be on his workbench, and he will be doing the renovation of the cabinet and the cleaning up of the wreck scene and all the rest of it. So if you want to see this video to its conclusion, or this radio to its conclusion, I'll put a link into the card up, where is it going to go? Up there. Go and check out Cody's finishing this radio. Down here will be something else from me. Over that side will be my face and Cody's face. If you wish to subscribe to Cody's, it would be appreciated. Obviously, he is going to do some hard work on this as well. But there we go. A cheap and cheerful Roberts Rambler, ready to rock and roll. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you like the video. Subscribe, ring the bell. You know what to do. Thanks very much.